Most men who start the whole self-development journey are often running away from something. A breakup, a rock bottom, a job they hated, a sense that they are not good enough. So they chase discipline. They chase the cold showers, the 5 a.m. wake-ups, the journaling, the Atomic Habits by James Clear, the whole shebang, the entire performance. And it works for a while. But then something strange happens. You start winning. You actually start seeing results. And the routines just stop, or they stop working. Your entire desire to optimize everything fades. You stop reading, you stop meditating, and for the first time in God knows how long, you don't feel guilty about it. But why? Self-development gives men control, and control is intoxicating when your life is spiraling out of control. It's a system and a structure, and you feel like you've cracked the code. So mate, wake up early, read 10 pages, drink a coffee, stretch, meditate, journal, then grind. And this gives you the illusion that you're making progress every single day, even though you haven't faced a real challenge in months. Most men who start this whole self-development journey, they create routines, not because they want to grow, but because they're scared of the chaos. They hide in routines to escape the one thing that actually causes growth. And that is doing hard shit. Taking risks, getting rejected, asking for a sale, hiring a team, recording fuck knows how long of a YouTube video. They would rather journal about winning than do the thing that winners do. By all means, I'm not saying that saunas are easy, ice baths are easy, going to the gym or training martial arts is easy. It's not. But you get comfortable with this. You get comfortable with the misery. You start to enjoy it. And when you start to enjoy these things are no longer hard to you. At some point, life changes. Your business starts to make money. You begin traveling. You move into this luxurious villa. You get momentum, and suddenly that 10-page morning routine just slips away. It feels unnecessary. You're now more reactive. You're in meetings, you jump between time zones. You've got calls at 9 p.m. and then one at 7 a.m. the next day. You tell yourself you're falling off, but it's just evolution. However, this is not to say it can't be mitigated. You can still develop the best version of yourself without sacrificing everything else. Your sleep, your diet, your training, that does not have to go out the window. You can continue to learn and grow whilst you're evolving. I don't have all this figured out. I'm 22 years old. My business has been going for 18 months. I left home. My business has been going just over a year now. I left home 18 months ago. I'm very much figuring it out as I go along. But one thing I do like doing is sharing my experiences with other people, and hopefully they can learn or be inspired to some extent by the things I even have to say. I've traveled around the world a lot now. I've been to Asia. I've had villas in Thailand and Bali and Dubai and Marbella. I'm going to Italy next month. On Saturday, we're going to Poland. Life is crazy. And you don't lose discipline because you're lazy. You lose it because everything around you changes. Admittedly, travel does kill routine. Scaling kills time. You were used to structure, but now you have freedom. And it's what you do with this freedom that matters. And imagine it feels like you're slipping, but really you're not. Perhaps your nervous system is just adapting to a whole new level. Meditation at 6 a.m. probably matters less now, but decision making at 6 p.m. does matter. Tracking your macros might not be necessary anymore, but calories certainly is. Maybe it's just learning what type of food your body needs and what your body reacts to, and then nailing that. Most guys panic. They think that they're off track because they're not on the same track. But the further you walk down a certain road, it changes. You can't expect one road to have the exact same scenery for thousands of miles. And all of yous are traveling at about 1,000 miles an hour. I know I certainly am, and that's the way my life feels right now. And I love it. Honestly, I love it. But here's the hard truth that I had to accept as well. We became addicted to the identity of self-development. The monk mode, the humble man, the guy who's always working on himself. You weren't just meditating, you were doing it to prove to yourself that you are who you say you are and you're capable of doing these things. You weren't just journaling, you were feeding the ego of a man who's doing the work. And then when you step into actual leadership, the head of a business, the head of a company, that whole identity starts to fall apart. You don't have the time to read for 30 minutes every single morning. Too busy building. And for men who tied their whole identity to self-development and discipline, that's when it starts to crumble. And I was that guy. I was that guy who prided myself on how disciplined I was and how consistent I was. But as I moved around, as my life changed and evolved for the better, I soon realized that it's not about doing the same thing at the same time every single day. It's about doing the things that need done at the time that they need done, how they need done. And this isn't crisis. This is just how life evolves. And I'm definitely not the only person like this. I own Willionaire. I know over 75 guys on an incredible personal level who all share the same belief and identity. There's a phase beyond self-help. It's where the books are somewhat internalized. The routines are built in, you change time zone, and you don't worry about writing it out on your notes section in your phone. You just get up and do it. You know not to eat junk food. You know what your body responds well to. So when you order that next meal at a restaurant, off Grab, you know what to order and what to ask for. You know what you're training today. So just get it done. And if there's nothing accessible, then plan on the plan. You know, like plans change. It is what it is. The mindset is already on lock. If you can dial in here, you can dial in anywhere. It doesn't matter if I'm back home in England or if I'm in Poland or if I'm in Thailand or if I'm in Marbella, it does not matter. And now it's all about movement. You've stopped obsessing over yourself and now you're building for others. The guys watching this video, the guys who are like me, you're doing this for a greater purpose. You're doing this with purpose. You're doing it for your family, for your friends, for your team, for the brotherhood. Self-development is scaffolding, and I'm a big believer that it sets you up for success. It's like, I'm a Christian man. And in the Bible, it talks about how the wise man built his house on the rocks and the foolish man built his house on the sand. And when the water came, the house on the sand was washed away. The house on the rock stood strong. And that's exactly what self-development is. Self-development is you building your house on the rocks. You're now building your business and you're traveling the world. You're living the life that person who started self-development dreamed of having. And now you have that. So now you've got to honor him. You've got to honor the hard work he put in. You've got to honor the routines and the mindset that was built from scratch. So like I said, self-development is scaffolding. Scaffolding holds everything up while you're building the thing. But at some point, the scaffolding needs to come down because product is nearly finished. You need to start working on the inside now. There's other areas of the compound. There's other builds you need to make. And you realize the goal was never to be disciplined for discipline's sake. The goal was to become sovereign, to hold chaos, to lead, to build, to win. So you've outgrown those habits. Just like 2 years ago, you had outgrown the negative habits. You're now on to bigger and better things. You're no longer managing yourself. You're mastering the world that you're in. You're mastering your world. And that's what it's really about. And as for us young, hungry, ambitious, driven men who could be traveling the world, they could be locked in one place. They're building a business. They're trying to get closer to God. They want to have these perfect relationships with their family. They want their sleep to be dialed in. They want training to be nailed. I think it's more so about being at peace with the reality of things. And what I mean by that is I understand that I can be good at everything that I want to be good at. I can be in insane shape. I can have good relationships with my family. And I can scale my business whilst traveling the world. It's possible. The proof of concept is out there. There's people doing it. There's people who have done it. And of course, this is a heck of a lot easier when you're surrounded by 75 plus like-minded, ambitious entrepreneurs. Yeah, that's all for me now, Kings. In a bit.